Welcome to a place where love isn't just a story but a living, breathing journey. Here, passion and soul collide to create a fire that burns deeper than desire, a love that heals old wounds and opens doors to a future once thought impossible. This is where imperfect souls come together, breaking down walls in quiet moments, whispered confessions, and lingering kisses after the world falls asleep. It's a sanctuary where every scar, every longing, every layer is seen, embraced, and wanted completely. If you're ready to dive into raw, real stories of love that move beyond the surface stories, that celebrate the fierce tenderness, the messy vulnerability, and the unstoppable power of true connection, you're in the right place. Get ready to feel, to heal, and to believe again in love that lasts forever. There was a time when love felt like something distant, a dream seen from afar, too fragile to touch, too bright to hold close. It was easy to think that passion was just a fleeting flame, quick to burn out or leave only ashes. But then, when passion and soul collided, everything changed in ways that no one can fully prepare for. It was no longer about just desire or a rush of emotion. It was something breathtaking, a fire that burned deep and steady, alive with longing but grounded in an unshakable sense of safety and understanding. Every moment shared was more than a simple connection of bodies. Every touch was a language spoken without words, every glance a silent promise that echoed in the heart. This was love speaking through skin, through breath, through the quiet spaces between heartbeats. It was as if two souls who had wandered separately through 1,000 lifetimes suddenly recognized each other. This wasn't about rushing or grabbing at something temporary. It was about embracing a closeness that both frightened and comforted at the same time, the closeness of skin and spirit intertwined. In the early days, it was easy to feel exposed. The nervousness of letting someone see the real pieces beneath the surface, the scars, the fears, the moments of doubt was overwhelming, but each touch reassured, each embrace whispered acceptance. The desire that sparked between them wasn't just physical hunger. It was the hunger of two hearts desperate to be understood, to be held fully and without hesitation. It was the craving for connection in its rawest form, unfiltered and unafraid. There was a night not long after this all began, when silence spoke louder than words. The room was dim, filled only with the soft glow of the moonlight slipping through the curtains. Fingers brushed lightly, exploring, learning. The warmth of skin against skin was electric, but it was the way his eyes held hers steady, patient, tender, that made the moment unforgettable. It was a look that said, "I see you, I know you, and I want all of you." The passion in that gaze was more powerful than any touch, more lasting than any whispered word. This love wasn't about perfection or flawless romance. It was about two people meeting where they were, with all their brokenness, hopes, and vulnerabilities laid bare. It was messy and beautiful all at once. The moments of laughter after awkward confessions, the soft sighs in the quiet of the night, the unspoken understanding when words failed, these were the true markers of what was growing between them. It was a love that dared to be real, not just an ideal dreamed up in stories. And in that reality, passion and soul found a delicate balance. Desire no longer raced ahead blindly, but moved with intention, with respect for the heart beneath the skin. The touches lingered longer, the kisses deepened with meaning. It was about savoring every second, knowing that this fire wasn't meant to consume and destroy, but to warm and illuminate. It was a dance between strength and gentleness, urgency and calm. Through every stolen moment, a bond was forged, one that grew stronger with every heartbeat shared. The love that emerged wasn't loud or boastful. It was quiet but fierce, steady but wild. It held the power to heal old wounds, to awaken parts of the soul thought lost to time. In this connection, passion became a language of trust, and love became a sanctuary where fear could no longer find a home. This love was not just a feeling, but a force, one that pulled two people closer. uniting skin and spirit in a way that transcended the ordinary. It was an invitation to be vulnerable and courageous at the same time, to surrender and to fight for something rare and true. It was a promise written in every touch, every glance, every breath shared between them. No words could fully capture what it meant to find that kind of love, the kind that sees every scar, every hope, every longing and says, "You are enough." To be held by someone who desires not only the body but the soul, who honors the depths and the heights of who you are. That is the kind of love that changes everything. And in the stillness of those moments, when passion met soul and fire burned steady and true, there was nothing left to doubt, only the profound knowing that this love was forever. Love never showed up in perfect moments. It arrived quietly, unevenly, tangled up in the mess of real life. It wasn't the picture, perfect scenes from movies, or the flawless smiles captured in photographs. Instead, it was found in the broken pieces, the cracks where vulnerability leaked through and two imperfect souls met without pretense. The kind of love that doesn't hide from shadows but learns to live within them, messy, raw, and real. Late nights held the deepest truths. When the world finally fell silent and the noise of everyday faded away, the heart spoke loudest. It was then that whispers slipped through the dark confessions that trembled with fear and hope, shared with the trembling breath of someone finally letting down their guard. These were not grand declarations shouted across rooftops. They were small, fragile moments of honesty exchanged in the quiet, where shame was replaced by understanding. In those nights, walls began to crumble. Not all at once, but slowly, piece by piece. The masks worn for so long started to fall away, revealing the scars beneath scars no one ever talked about, but that shaped every feeling, every hesitation. The person on the other side didn't recoil. Instead, they reached out, their hands steady and sure, offering safety without judgment. It was in this slow unraveling that the deepest connection was born. Kisses lingered long after the world had gone to sleep, carrying the weight of everything unspoken. They weren't rushed or merely physical. Each kiss held the promise of being seen, truly seen. It was in these moments that vulnerability turned into strength, and desire became a bridge between two hearts learning to trust. The softness of lips on skin was a language that said, "You are not alone." Love like this did not require perfection. It required honesty, the courage to show up as one truly was, with flaws and fears laid bare. It was about holding space for the messiness of emotions, the confusion, the doubts that crept in during quiet moments. It was about choosing each other every day, not because everything was flawless, but because the truth of their connection was worth the risk. There were nights when tears fell silently, when unspoken pain hung heavy in the air. Those were the nights when love proved its power not by fixing everything, but by simply being there. The comfort of a warm embrace, the steady heartbeat against one's own, spoke louder than any words could. It was a love that didn't demand answers but offered presence, a quiet strength in the face of uncertainty. In the vulnerability of those moments, a new kind of wholeness took shape. Neither person was perfect or complete alone, but together they built something that transcended brokenness. It was a shared journey of healing, a tender weaving of hearts that refused to give up despite the odds. The love was not a destination, but a process, sometimes painful, sometimes beautiful, always real. Every whispered confession and lingering kiss was a thread in the tapestry of their story, binding them closer with each passing day. It was in the cracks and the quiet spaces that love found its true home, growing stronger not in spite of the mess, but because of it. This love held the power to transform wounds into wisdom, fears into courage, and loneliness into belonging. The beauty of this love lay in its imperfection. its raw honesty, and its unwavering commitment to be seen and to see in return. It wasn't easy and it wasn't neat, but it was genuine, and the kind of love that changes everything simply because it is true. And in that truth, the soul finally knew peace. Desire alone is a fragile thing. It can spark like lightning, intense and electric, but without something deeper beneath it, it often fades as quickly as it arrived. What makes love last, what makes it truly unstoppable, is when it reaches every part of you, weaving together body, mind, and heart into a single, unbreakable thread. It's not just a physical flame that burns bright and hot. It's a fire that warms the soul, mends the broken places, and opens doors to futures once thought impossible. This kind of love came quietly at first, like a breath that shifted everything. There was an initial pull, a magnetic attraction that drew two bodies close, but it was never just about that. Every touch carried a message, every look held a question and an answer all at once. It was a dance of passion and tenderness, fierce yet gentle, wild yet safe. It asked for everything and gave everything in return. The physical connection was electric, undeniable, but what made it last was the way it reached beyond skin and muscle, touching the deeper parts that longed to be seen and understood. It healed wounds that had been carried in silence for too long, wounds left from past heartbreaks, betrayals, and self-doubt. In those moments where desire met understanding, the past began to lose its power. It was as if love was saying, "You are more than your scars. You are worthy of joy, of peace, of a passion that does not hurt but heals." This love didn't rush or demand. It unfolded with patience, honoring the pace of two souls learning to trust again. The hands that caressed were both strong and careful, mindful of every hesitation, every tremble. It was a balance of power and vulnerability, of holding on and letting go. In this dance, passion was never reckless. It was an embrace that held space for every fear, every hope, every need. The mind, often a restless place, found stillness in this love. Conversations stretched long into the night, unguarded and honest. Dreams were shared, secrets whispered, doubts voiced without fear of rejection. This love fed the intellect as much as the body, weaving connection through laughter, shared silence, and the deep knowing that comes from being truly heard. It challenged and comforted in equal measure, sparking growth and offering refuge. And the heart, fragile and fierce, beat anew with a steady rhythm, no longer afraid to hope. It learned to trust the timing of love, to surrender to its gentle power without losing itself. The old wounds, once aching and raw, softened under the light of this unwavering presence. The scars didn't disappear, but they became part of the story, proof of survival, proof of a love that was strong enough to heal. This love opened doors once thought permanently closed. It painted a future rich with possibility, where joy and desire coexist without compromise. It was a promise whispered in every kiss, a commitment breathed in every touch. It held the power to transform loneliness into belonging, fear into courage, silence into song. In the quiet moments when bodies entwined and hearts spoke without words, the true depth of this love revealed itself. It was not simply an attraction or a fleeting spark, but an unstoppable force, one that grew fiercer with each passing day, deeper with every shared secret, more tender with every embrace. It was both wildfire and sanctuary, storm and calm. There was no need for grand declarations or promises carved in stone. This love was lived in every look, every touch, every breath taken together. It was a sacred dance where passion met tenderness, and two souls, once broken, found their way back to whole. And in that dance, love became eternal. To be truly seen is the rarest kind of love. It's the kind that doesn't just skim the surface or chase an ideal. It's finding someone who looks beyond the carefully curated exterior, beyond the smiles and the stories told to please others, and sees every layer beneath. The cracked places, the scars etched from past battles, the silent longings tucked deep inside. And then, with no hesitation or doubt, wants all of it, not in spite of those things but because of them. This kind of love is more than fleeting attraction or restless lust. It's a quiet, steady recognition that no one else could ever replace. It's the profound understanding that every broken piece, every hidden fear, every whispered hope is part of a whole only they can hold. To be chosen with all the complexities intact is a sacred gift, one that transforms what love can mean. There were moments when the weight of past mistakes and old hurts threatened to close off the heart again. The instinct was to hide, to retreat, to build walls as high as needed to protect what felt fragile. But in those moments, there was a presence unwavering, patient, and kind that didn't flinch or turn away. Instead, it reached deeper, willing to bear the truth without judgment. The kind of presence that says, "I am here, and I want all of you." Safety was found in the arms that held without suffocating. There was excitement, too, a pulse that quickened with anticipation, not from fear, but from the thrill of being desired for who one truly was. It was a delicate balance, a sanctuary built from trust and passion, where the heart could rest and soar all at once. The small things mattered most, the way fingertips traced old scars as if reading a sacred text, the way eyes held steady when vulnerability was laid bare, the quiet reassurances whispered in the dark. These were not grand gestures, but the daily acts of a love that grows stronger through intimacy and acceptance. It was a love that did not demand perfection, but celebrated every flaw and every strength equally. In this sanctuary, the soul could breathe. The past no longer defined, but became a part of the story told with pride, not shame. The longing that once felt like a burden transformed into a promise, held tenderly between two hearts that chose each other over and over again. True love is not about losing oneself, but finding the courage to show all parts, the light and the shadow, and still be embraced wholly. It is the knowledge that even on the hardest days, even when the world outside feels cold and unforgiving, there is a place where safety and excitement live side by side, a place where love is alive and growing. And in that knowing, forever begins. Thank you for sharing this journey of love and passion with me. If these stories touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a moment of truth, tenderness, and real connection. Join the family, share your own story, and let's keep exploring the depths of love together. Until next time, keep your heart open and your soul burning bright.